and that will get us a center. Now, if I wanted to right justify, what would I hit? Control what? Control R. If I want to left justify, it'd be what? Control L. So Control E is center. Okay, good. So you guys are starting to learn some keyboard shortcuts here. I like that. It's just that the center one, because they use C for something else, E is our, we skip that first letter of that word and we go to E.
Justify C, or Control J.
Is it?
Yep.
There you go. Control J. This is just my opinion. I'm going to flap my tie here for a second. Justified used to be a big thing that people would use a lot in business, but it's kind of gone out of style, I would say. So a lot of times we just use left justified. It used to be everybody would use justified, but it's not something we do as much anymore. All right. So now we want to change some fonts. So I'm going to triple click to grab this found dog entire line here. And we want to alter the font. And one of the cool things about about Word, is that it has what we call a live preview. So we can actually try something without actually changing it for completely. And if we want to change the size of a font, there's a few different ways of doing it. The first one is this number right here is the size of our font. Now I'm going to be honest with you, I've never used Control-Shift-P to change the size of my font. Okay, it's just one of those things I don't use a keyboard shortcut for. You can, but I've just never done it. So you can drop this box down, and as we scroll over different numbers, notice that it's showing me this is the size of what this would be. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and select 72. You could also, instead of hitting that drop down arrow, just click into the box and type in 55. Pick a number and see what it looks like. It's kind of nice when you have the live preview though, because you can see this is exactly what it's going to look like before I set it that way. So we've now changed the size of the font. We're going to take a break, but we're probably going to be a few minutes late, so just hang with me here for a second.
We're right on track. We don't want to change.
All right. So we are going to now change the actual font. If we want to change the font, we can do it the exact same way we just did the size. We can either do a drop down, and when we do a drop down, we can see what everything's going to look like as we do it. Notice how this changes as I pick it. I'm going to go ahead and go with Arial Black, rounded. Arial Rounded Bold. That's the one I like for this one. And it gives us a nice little round thing. Does anybody know, do I have any font experts in here who know what a serif or a sans serif font is? Oh, I've got someone who knows. Jen, do you know it? All right, what is it?
Sans serif means it doesn't have any little tags off of the letters, and serif means that it has a little tag. Helvetica is sans serif.
Yeah, Helvetica is sans serif. This font that we just selected is sans serif. There's no little, they call them serifs, but they're like little whoops that come off of the font. Well, it's san as in Latin, like without, but yes, like they've been sanded. That's a good way to think of it. Yes. So it's either with the little serifs or without. Now, I only bring this up because a lot of times it's important. What we pick really does communicate what our project is about. It gives it a lot of character. So if I was to pick Algerian, this has serifs. You can see the little squigglies coming off it different ways. I could pick, let's see here. Is this Denmark? This is sans serif. Rockwell, this is serif. We've got the little things. They might be, not rounded, but there's little tags coming off of everything. So we're just going to go ahead and stick with Arial Round. If you wanted to change the font, you could also just click in here and type in Arial Rounded, and it'll find it. You can do that. And one other thing I forgot to tell us about how to change the size of the font. We can use just to the right of the size. We can go up and down here. So up takes the font up one, down takes it down. Okay? Good. Now we're going to talk about case. That's lowercase, uppercase, title case, sentence case. They have all these different kind of cases. That's how, small caps, all capitals, what are we going to do? Now in this one right here, if we want to change, let's say we typed in found dog, but we realized, darn it, I should have made that all caps. And I don't want to retype it because I am belligerently stubborn about this. I'm not going to retype it. Okay? We don't have to retype it. We can actually have the computer go in and do it for us. And that's this little big A, little a. If we just down arrow it, it says, do you want sentence case, which will add a capital at the beginning and a period at the end. Lowercase changes everything lowercase, uppercase, everything's all capitals. I call this capitalize each word is actually called title case because it will capitalize the next word that starts just always starts with a capital, and then toggle case is the reverse of that. We want to make this one uppercase, and notice just by clicking on it, it's altered that entire thing for us. Now, when we play with effects, we're going to talk about effects here for a second. We can make this, we're making a flyer for a lost dog, and we want to make it kind of flashy. Word has decided, or Microsoft has decided for us in Word, that, you know what, we don't want to make everybody do everything if they don't want to. If they want to do something fancy, they shouldn't have to spend 10 minutes making it look fancy. So they've given us some tools called text effects, and that's this little highlighted blue A up here, glowing A. And what we can do is when we click down on that, it will show us, we could make any of these independently if we spent 5 to 10 minutes in here adjusting the font a certain way. But why? They've given us all these wonderful options. We could just pick one and start with it already pre-done. So we're actually going to go down and select. This is just like a color selection where I told you don't stress out about colors. I would pick this one though. It's the bottom third one, the third one down on the left. If you select this, automatically it's changing. It's given us a gradient fill, so it goes from a dark to a light color. It's given us a white center. It's just kind of given us a little, it looks like it's got a glow to it. I don't think it does. It's got like a shadow on it or something. So it's just a little bit fancier of a font. And now if I want to change the color of the paragraph, this is our next little thing we're going to do. I always try to get everybody to remember fonts are one thing, but paragraphs are another. If we want to we don't want to change the whole piece of paper, but we want to change the color behind the actual text that we're on. When we change the font color, we're going to use an A. But when we want to change the paragraph, we're going to dump the paint. We're going to throw it onto the page, is what I like to say. So we're going to look for the paint can that's up here. And we're going to, so we're on here, and we're going to pick a color. The color we're going to pick is in the bottom right of the browns. Once again, we can pick any color we want, but we might as well pick something ugly because it's a Microsoft manual, right? Because I'm an Apple guy. Sorry. So I've got this selected, and I'm going to pick this one. And sure enough, now I have a really incredibly hideous brown background with my beautiful text. Yeah. And then what we also want to do is change this. You know what? We're going to pause right there. We're going to stop right at that section. We're going to take our break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to start right there.